Hello world, it's Monday, May 4th. Another beautiful sunny day here in Defiance, clear blue skies. I did get a chance to get out and go running this morning. Excuse me, it was a little chilly out. Temps in the 40s, but a beautiful morning nonetheless. Today's Stillspeaking Daily Devotional is entitled Learn to Weep, and it's written by Mary Ludi. And she bases it on a selection from the Gospel of John, chapter 11, verse 33 and 35, New Revised Standard Version. When Jesus saw her weeping, and those who came with her also weeping, he was greatly disturbed in spirit and deeply moved. Jesus began to weep. And Mary writes, Several years ago, in an unscripted moment, a little girl in Manila asked the visiting Pope Francis why God allows children to suffer. She had just told him in front of 1 million people that she scrounged food from the garbage and slept outside on a cardboard mat. Here's what the Pope did. He enfolded the sobbing child in his arms. Then he admonished everyone to quiet down and pay close attention because, he said, she has just asked the one question with no answer. When the crowd hushed, he said to her, We can't answer you now. Only when we are able to weep about the things you have lived will we understand anything and be able to answer you. Then he taught the crowd that the world needs to weep. The marginalized weep, the scorned weep, the sick and dying weep. But we who are privileged, we don't always know how. We must learn. The Pope concluded saying, If you don't learn to weep, you're not a good Christian. In these awful days of virus-related illness and death, whenever we're asked why these things happen, let's not be quick to answer. Let's take Pope Francis's advice. Enfold first and hush. Then say a word born of tears. And Mary's prayer. Give us tears, O God, so that we may perceive clearly, and perceiving, join each other in suffering, and in joining, be moved to love indeed. So many of us live in a place of privilege, probably without even being cognizant of it or realizing it. And maybe that's what Pope Francis is getting at, because it's often those who come from a place of privilege who look at events going on in the world, especially disastrous events, and seem to find a reason for it. That reason often in their minds being God's retribution for some wrong. But isn't it interesting that so many of the people who suffer are those at the bottom of our social and economic ladders? So, before you jump to any conclusions as to why things are happening, maybe do what Francis said. Learn to weep. Learn to see the plight of others with compassion. And then, perhaps, once you've wept, work to understand why those conditions exist and what we can do in the world to correct that. And that, my friends, would truly be following Jesus, for he tells us in the Gospel of John that he came so that we may have life, and life abundantly. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon.